Attention for a minute, please. This is Nick Shaw. This is his senior exhibition. This is a big day for him. I'm sure quite excited, maybe a little nervous, so we all need to be a respectful audience. What'll happen is about 15 to 20 minutes to give his presentation. After that, at the end of that, we'll allow for a couple minutes of questions. The panel will have the first option for questions, and then everyone after, if there's any questions from the audience, can do that. And then we'll ask everyone to leave the room, except the panel. We'll talk for hopefully under 25 minutes, and we'll determine how Nick did and whether or not he meets standard, and then we'll invite you back in and share our findings with you.
Okay. Yep.
All right. So take it away.
Hey, I'm Nick Shaw. My senior ex was about music production and the music industry. My essential question is, how can learning the process of producing and recording music, as well as the struggles the music industry faces due to modern technology, help me decide if I could make music production a legitimate career for me? My previous knowledge on this kind of topic of music production and music industry, I'm sure a lot of you know of illegal downloading. That's out there on the internet. I had limited knowledge of digital audio workstations, which is basically a program that you use to produce music. The only one that I've ever investigated was GarageBand, just because it's been on our computers since we were in middle school. I know that artists make money by copywriting their music and selling it. I knew that you could either record music in a home studio or a professional studio. And I also have a lot of experience playing music in jazz bands and concert bands, and just with my friends, kind of as a hobby. So my mentor is Matthew Lawson. He's a professional jazz musician, recently retired. He's won the National Trumpet Competition in 2004. He's had a lot of experience teaching music industry courses as well as jazz improv courses at the college level, and has a lot of live recording experience, as he's recorded his own album called Midnight in Marizo. And that's a picture right there. The small picture is the album cover, and that's a picture of him playing the trumpet in Spain, I'm pretty sure. It's very tan. What have I learned during this whole process? The first thing that I wanted to talk about is basically the producing and recording. I learned about production software, which I'll go into further later. I learned about virtual instruments, which is what you see in the lower corner there. The bass guitar, that's actually on a computer, and you can play that using a MIDI keyboard. So you're not actually playing the instrument live, it's in your computer. I've learned about live instruments, which are like guitars, bass guitars. You can record them live. You can record acoustic guitars and vocals using condenser microphones, which are, there's the large diaphragm condenser mic right there on the left, and the small diaphragm, the two ones in the upper right corner. Then there's the dynamic microphone, which is the one in the middle. That's used for vocals and more live performances rather than recording. And I've also learned about producing environments, which I'm going to go into a little bit further as well. So this is the software I was talking about. It's a digital audio workstation. Digital audio workstations are used in all environments of recording, whether it be a professional studio or a home studio. The industry standard right now is Pro Tools right there, you can see. To the right, but the other different kinds are PreSonus, Sonar, GarageBand, which is a lower level or a lower market one, and then there's Studio One and Cubase. The one to the lower left is PreSonus Studio One. And also, I just wanted to describe what a full digital audio workstation is. It's not just the program itself; it's actually the computer and the speakers that combine with editing software to make like an overall kind of unit that you can use to record and mix and everything you need to produce a fully produced song. So recording environments, there's three different kinds. There's professional or traditional recording studios, there's home studios, there's project studios. The traditional and pro studio has session players and studio players, which are players who you can go there. Say you have an idea, but you might not be able to play it exactly the way you want it. You can pay them by the hour, and they'll work for you, play everything you want just the way that you want it. And then there's audio engineers also, who control all the buttons and everything. As you can see, there's a lot of them. They know what they're doing, and they can mix and master and record and help you out. And also, one thing that you need to take into consideration if you choose to go the Pro Studio route, that it costs a lot of money. So there's a lot of preparation involved because you need to plan your time in the studio down to the T and sketch out your song completely before you go in there, because you have to pay by the hour and it's very expensive, so you don't want to waste time just trying to think of what you're going to play and how you want the song to look like and how you want it to come out. The easier one, which is the route I chose, was home studio. There's a lot of pros for home studios because they're very mobile. You can move them. Say from your house, you want to go to your friend's house, you can bring most of your equipment there pretty easily. It's a good starting place for upcoming artists because of its mobility and how you can work on your own schedule rather than having to take a lot of time to prepare and go into a pro studio. You don't have to worry about paying a lot of money because you're on your own time. The cons, due to the environment and also the skill level of the people who use home studios, it's very hard to achieve like the professional sound that you hear on the radio. And then the third environment is a project studio. It's kind of an intermediate step between the home studio and the professional studio. A lot of artists use it as like a stepping stone. It's basically a home studio, but where someone has had a lot of time and maybe the money to beef up their equipment and get kind of more than the average home studio would have. Mr. Lawson's project studio is actually the one on the top picture there where I did all my recording and producing. So I want to kind of change gears here and go into technology's effect on the music revenue stream, more to the business aspect. And a couple of things I wanted to start out with saying is that music industry has sort of taken a shift more towards the digital world rather than CDs and cassettes and things like that. Most of it's done on the computer in digital form. Also, affordability of technology for recording and producing has kind of taken away from the music industry's effect because of the ability for almost anyone to produce a song that doesn't sound quite as professional, but almost there, depending on your skill level. And then also, I wanted to talk about the ease of illegal downloading and how that is affecting artists' revenue and them making money from their music. And this graph over here basically just shows the spike in digital activity in the music industry over the last couple of years. You can see it's quite a bit higher than anything else right now. So before I start talking about like how artists are not making money off their music these days because of technology, I want to show you how they're supposed to make money. Once you have a song in any type of tangible form, like say you wrote down lyrics on a napkin or you recorded a little lick or something like that, it's actually copyrighted, but it is not officially copyrighted. All you need to do is send it to the official Copyright Bureau and get an official copyright, and then you can make money off it. But once you have it in that tangible form, no one can actually take it from you. They can make money through publishing, which say a publishing company likes your music. You'll work for them, and it'll be a 50-50 split of the royalties or the money that you make between them. There's performance royalties, where I'm sure you know bands make money for going on tour, and also say a restaurant wants to play your music over their speakers. They actually are paying money to the artist to use their music, even if you didn't know that, but they definitely have to. There's synchronization royalties, which is anytime your song is put into a video form, such as TV shows, movies, commercials, and that price is always negotiable between the artist and the movie company or whatever. There's also print rights, which is if they take your song and put it into sheet music, they put it into songbooks and things like that so people can learn your music. That's also a way to make money. So I want to talk about how digital distribution is kind of affecting music revenue at the moment right now. There's a couple legal ways you can download music onto the internet or on your computer that is actually giving the money or the artist profit, which is things like iTunes and Spotify and Pandora. Some of them give artists money by using ads and stuff like that, whereas iTunes you actually pay for the song. 30 of the 99 cents that you pay goes directly to iTunes, the company, and the other 69 cents is split between the publisher and the artist. Illegal ways are some like LimeWire you can download onto your computer. You get free music. Mega Upload recently just got busted actually, but you could go onto there and download music on your computer. And YouTube, I'm going to show you in a second how you can actually use YouTube to get music illegally. And then this graph over here shows when an illegal website started, Napster. It's not illegal right now, but it was illegal when it first started. And you can see how just one online website or computer-based website has dropped CD sales pretty dramatically. So right now I'm going to show you really quickly how easy it is to download music off the internet illegally, just as kind of the effect thing. So I have this song right here, but it's the Atlas Genius song Trojans. This is an upcoming band who's trying to kind of get out there and make money. I'm going to show how easy it is to kind of hurt their business here. I just have a download add-on that I just got from Firefox, and I mean, they say it's illegal, but it's pretty easy to do. I just go here and just grabbing the video it actually strips the MP3 right from YouTube, and it should be going here for a second. Ooh, you can't see. Oh yeah, you can. Okay, I'm gonna try one more time. Should take a second. It's just worked this morning, so it should work right now. But I got a lot of stuff open, so maybe it's not gonna. If it doesn't work in a second, I'm just gonna go by. But I mean, oh, here you go. So downloaded it. It's downloaded onto my computer right now, and I just click on it, and it's gonna open up into my iTunes. You can hear it playing through my iTunes right now. It's now on my computer, and I didn't have to pay anything for it. It was a little bit of a hassle, but it wasn't that bad. Didn't have to pay anything. So I'll go back to my presentation here. But I think that's just crazy how you can download music so easily, and the artist doesn't get anything for it at all. It's kind of frustrating. And I'm going to delete that off my iTunes later, so I'm not hurting that upcoming band. And also, I want to talk about how home recordings and the affordability of like high quality programs, such as the ones that I talked about earlier, Pro Tools and Studio One. Because of technology these days, those programs are coming very affordable, and so upcoming bands are kind of shading away from the traditional professional studios and going towards more home recording because it's easier, it's cheaper, and so this is kind of hitting hard in the music industry because they make a lot of money from bands going to expensive professional studios. And so this has kind of created the perfect storm, like with high-speed internet, low cost of home recording, affordable technology. It's caused a huge drop in physical sales, which you can see the graph. It shows digital sales versus physical sales. There's a dramatic decrease in artist revenue because of illegal downloading. And it's made it a lot harder to get record contracts, professional record contracts, because because recording companies have had a lot less money to give because people are going more towards the home studio rather than the professional studio. And so basically, at the end of all this, learning all this, I want to see how I could potentially get started in a music career. So first thing I would have to do was choose a program that fit me out of those programs that I showed you earlier, those DAWs, digital audio workstations. And what I chose was Studio One, right here to the left. It's an affordable program that's very, it can do a lot of different things, almost any kind of music you want to do on it. It's very versatile, and it's affordable, which is the most important thing for me. And I had to learn how to use and record on using Studio One. And so basically how I learned that was there's a website called groove3.com. It was an online database with videos that showed me tutorials on almost anything I needed to know. I had a lot of learning sessions with my mentor, who also has this program, and he helped me out a lot, just showing me the ropes, kind of how to do the basic things. And I experimented by myself a lot, just kind of messing around, guessing and checking, seeing what I could do with it. And after a couple weeks, I kind of got the hold of it, and I could basically do anything that I needed to produce a song that I'm going to show you in a little bit. And so after I learned how to use Studio One, I had to create a fully produced song, which I have. And then basically the next step, which I haven't done at all, which is to kind of get my product exposure. How I could do that? I could go to local restaurants and DJs and ask them to play my song, kind of get it out there. I can use social networking sites like Facebook, SoundCloud, YouTube, and things like that, so people can hear my music. But that would be a next step for me. I'm not sure I'd have to do a little more thinking on how I could get my song out there if I want to make this a real career choice. So in the making, these are some pictures of Mr. Lawson and me recording my song in his studio. That's him on the guitar, working the computer, showing me how to do everything. And so right now I'm going to show you my final product right here. It's on Mr. Lawson's iPod.
You have about 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you. We kind of went with the alternative rock, it's almost more real rock. I produced this song. I came up with the chord progressions and everything like that, but I kind of used Mr. Lawson, him being a professional musician. I used him kind of as like a session player that I talked about earlier to play it just the way I wanted it. I'll just let you listen for a little bit.
Time when you gave the wrong signs, forget all your sadness, we're writing the lines. We'll put the top down and break up with this town, leave all the madness that's making you blind. You want it to last, bad with the passion of old lang syne. Your French fade out fast and the cheap shots sing wrong key, wrong time. We're built for the sun, conceived on the run. Just keep your dreams in time with mine. Can't you see it's time to ride? We can't look back this time. Keep this love alive. Leave it all behind. Can't you see it's time to ride? We can't look back this time. Keep this love alive. Leave it all behind. Love alive.
There's a cool guitar solo, I want to get that in there.
Can't you see it's time to ride? We can't look back this time. Leave these small town lives. It's time to ride. Keep this love alive. Leave these small town lives.
So there's that. That's my final product. I thought that it sounded pretty professional. I mean, we couldn't get that full sound, but we spent a lot of time, Mr. Lawson spent a lot of hours last night mixing it, finishing up the vocals for me, and I think that it was a good final product. And if I wanted to pursue that, I think that I could maybe get that song some exposure and maybe go from there. But basically, my conclusion after doing all my research and taking it all in, going back to my essential question, could I make this a legitimate career choice? I kind of thought that maybe for me, this would be better as a hobby versus a career because of the fact that I live on a small island. There's not a huge music culture around here. There's like the professional style. And so there'd be a little exposure for me. And also with the struggling music industry right now, it'd be really hard for me at my skill level and my skill base to really make something out of this. So I thought an alternative for that would kind of keep this as a hobby, gain experience as I keep playing and keep recording and keep producing songs, and kind of see where it takes me. Maybe find a career somewhere else. I'm going to school for engineering. That is always something that I can have and have a good career in that, and maybe keep this on the side, and if an opportunity ever presents itself, I can maybe take advantage of that in the future. I had thank yous too. My mentor, he helped me a lot. I mean, we spent a whole day at his house one time doing all the recording. He helped me a lot. Miss Scoopy and Miss Strout, my senior X teachers, for keeping me on task and doing everything I was supposed to. Mr. Granholm for kind of giving me ideas on the beginning of my project when I didn't really know which direction I wanted to go in. And my mom and dad for supporting me throughout the process. And then here's my works cited, and I'm done. Any questions at this point?
Any questions from the panel first?
Yes.
Of your
resources, which ones were the most informative?
Most informative. I would say that groove3.com really helped me right from the beginning because I really had no clue what I was doing because GarageBand's very simple and that's what I'd experienced using. And I got to Studio One and it kind of blew me away. And those videos, they're very detailed and they're all labeled like each section and then really in detail about each specific problem you're having and how to solve that problem. And so I spent a lot of hours watching those videos. That really helped me a lot. Yep. Anything else? No.
Any questions from the general audience?
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Nick. Very
Yep.
much.